Okay, good morning once again, and thanks to join a session on introduction to MATLAB. If you have any questions or query, you can write in a chat box. Whenever I will have time, I will reply. Okay, so today we will have a two session. In first session, we'll see basics of MATLAB, how to import and export data, and how to do some basics data analysis and pre-processings. In next session, we will see some optimization techniques, local optimization, linear and non-linear optimization. Global optimization means finding the global maxima and minima of your objective functions. Okay. Myself, Akhilesh Kumar, Assistant Manager, Application Engineer for MathWorks Products in Design Tech Systems Limited. And Mr. Sayed, he is a sales representative in region for MathWorks products. Okay, first of all, we'll start from the applications of MATLAB that what we can do with MATLAB, and further we'll see some basics. Applications like deep learning, as you know that nowadays deep and machine learning are very widely used, right? So doesn't matter what is your domain and in which application area are you working with it. You can use deep learning in any domain. Like if I am talking about mechanical department, like uh, automated driving systems. If I am talking about electrical departments, maybe you are going to design some kind of forecasting model for power usage, right? Or you are going to design some model for predictive maintenance to find out the remaining useful life. The complete deep learning model you can design in MATLAB for classification, regression, forecasting, IoT. MATLAB provide us a complete IoT systems also, data aggregation and analytics part. We have a ThingSpeak that is free for students. So you can use ThingSpeak to log your data from sensor, and you can write MATLAB code directly there as well on that ThingSpeak. So that you require a MathWorks account that is free. You can register a MathWorks account, and you can use. So in last session, the third day, we will see how to log data from hardware to ThingSpeak data aggregator. Okay, so you can design a complete IoT systems also. Autonomous systems, if somebody is working on autonomous systems, so any kind of system, autonomous system you can design. You can create scenarios also, and you can test your model as well before launching it commercially or before working in a real world. Automotive, if someone is working on HEV, or somebody is working on hybrid kind of systems, or somebody is working on only on electrical vehicles, or somebody is working on mechanical vehicles. So both kind of system, I mean vehicles, automotive vehicles you can design. We have lots of libraries available for that, and modules are available for automotive modeling. Either you are working on ADAS or you are working on HEV, you can design both kind of things. Robotics, if you are working on robotics application, we have various modules available. Robotics, navigation, UAV modules are available in the latest MATLAB. Not only you can design, you can interface with ROS also. If you have robots, you can interface, you can do further analysis there, as well as you can do a 3D modeling also. Let's say if you have model in CAD, you can import in MATLAB, and you can further analysis you can do in MATLAB. Electromechanical, if you are working on mechatronics, that is also possible. So we have various modules available for mechatronics also. Complete electromechanical models you can design. Either you are working on renewable energy, and If you are working on some automotive, as I told, or autonomous system, or if you are working on robotics or mechatronics, you can design a complete model here. Aeronautics. If you want to do analysis of dynamics of aeronautics, a complete aeronautic system also you can design. You can create scenarios also. You can interface with external hardwares also. So a complete solution is available in MATLAB to design dynamics of aeronautics as well. So first of all, we start from brief history of MATLAB. So first version of MATLAB was a series of research papers from Mr. Wilkinson and his colleagues. They published as a research papers, and further they represented in a ISPAC and LeanPack as ISPAC and LeanPack, but it was a failure that time because they didn't have a documentation for that, just software they represented in that case. And Mr. Klee Muller, who is a founder of also MATLAB, first MATLAB which he designed, it was as a matrix laboratory. It was written in a Fortran language, and it was not a programming language. It was just as an interactive matrix calculator. So this is a Fortran language which you see. It was designed like that. Later, commercially, it was launched in 1985, but first PC MATLAB was designed in December 1984. Commercially, PC MATLAB was launched in 1985 for different kind of operating systems for computers. Okay, what is the logo of MATLAB which you see? First logo was taken from 1965. Or thesis was written, that is Stanford L-shape. It was based on L-shape membrane. So this logo which you see, this is the first logo. Just wait a minute now. Yeah, fine. This was the first logo of MATLAB. It was taken from L-shape membrane, and year by year it was modified. You can see here 1984, 1987, still it was black and white kind of logo. Then 1994, 1992, and 1997. So the logo which you see right now, that is taken from 1997. From that time it is not modified till now. Okay, this is our agenda, main agenda, introduction to MATLAB, demo we will see on fuel economy analysis. Before that, we'll see introduction to MATLAB environment, building analysis routines, creating documentations also. If we have a time, then we'll see how to create a app also from that. So what is MATLAB? MATLAB is a high level language. You know what is level language, right? Anyone can tell me C is a high level or low level? You can write in a chat box. I will see it later. You can write in a chat box, is a high level or low level language or medium level. Okay, MATLAB is a high level language. It means it is very user friendly. The functions which are given in MATLAB, that is very user friendly, means the mathematical equations which you write in your notebook as it is, you have to write similar in MATLAB. So you don't have to remember any functions. Even MATLAB this use if you that and how to remove that error also. So that's why it is called a high level language. And interactive development environment, it's not like that you are just typing the code. Interactively you can see that what is going on. Apart from that, you can animate also. And as I told that if you get any error, MATLAB will let you know. And for every functions there are proper documentation also for each and every function, so you don't have to go on Google or somewhere else. Every thing you will get within the MATLAB environment. MATLAB is used for numerical computation, data analysis, visualization, algorithm development, and deployment. You can develop any kind of algorithm and further you can deploy it as well. So deployment means a complete system you are going to design. Apart from that, if you want to deploy in a hardware, if you want to deploy as a standalone application as a .exe file, or if you want to interface with enterprise applications, so that things are possible with MATLAB. Doesn't matter from which department you are, if you are an engineer or scientist, whatever you can imagine, you can design in MATLAB. This is a MathWorks product family which you see right now here. The blue part which you see, that is a part of a scripting, and this orange color which you see, that is a part of a graphical way to design a model. So you have both options. If you want to write a code, go for blue one and means MATLAB modules, or if you want to design any kind of uh, block diagram or mathematical model as a graphical way, then you can go for the Simulink. So any module if you want to access, either Simulink, either MATLAB, image, electrical, it will work on the top of the MATLAB. So you require a MATLAB to access any kind of module. So right now there are more than 110 modules are available in MATLAB. So for example, let's say if I have to write equation, a simple equation C is equal to A plus B. So what will I do in MATLAB? I will assign the value of A and B, then C is equal to A plus B, and I will get a result. Same thing if I have to do in Simulink, then I will take some graphical blocks, one for A, another for B, then one sum block. I will add it, and to check the output, I will take one display block as well. So both way you can do, and you can interface a script with Simulink as well. So lots of tools are available, we have tools available for control system. If you want to design a complete control system, you can design it. Or if you want to, if you're doing signal analysis, so we have signal processing modules available. So if you are working on communications, we have modules available. Somebody is working on image processing or computer vision for surveillance purpose or something. If you want to track or object detection kind of things, you can use image processing and computer vision with MATLAB. Let's say that if you want to interface hardwares, I mean instrument kind of hardwares, we have instrument control toolbox. If you want to interface log data from acquisition kind of hardware, so you can do it with MATLAB. We have option for physical modeling as well. So you can do a physical modeling also. Physical modeling means if energy signal modeling, like bidirectional signals, like electrical circuits, because currents are bidirectional, like current is bidirectional, right? So we have libraries available for that also. Like if you want to use some kind of asynchronous motors, induction motors, or if you want to use DC motor simple, or if you want to use resistance, capacitance, or if you want to design a complete transmission, electrical transmission. So we have components available for that also. You can go for physical modeling to design a complete model for that. Okay, so lots of modules are available, depends on you in which application area are you working with, and that tools. Okay, technical computing workflow of MATLAB, how MATLAB work, that is important. So first of all, we require to access data in MATLAB if you are working with data. So your data can be in any kind of file like this. So file can be as a Excel file, it can be a CSV file, or it can be any kind of file format. It can be a scientific kind of files as well. You can access very easily in MATLAB, and we are going to see how to access data in MATLAB. Or if you have any other software vendor, you can interface and you can access data from there as well, like database. If you have database, you can interface with MATLAB and you can access data. MATLAB algorithm work with live data as well. So if you have hardware, if there are sensors installed, you can log data directly from there. So let me tell you, if I'm talking about low cost hardware like Arduino, Raspberry Pi or Android mobile, iPhone, you can log sensors data from there also, and very easily. Just you have to connect some blocks, or if you want to write code, some write 2-3 lines for that, and your data will start logging. And further, once you got the data, we explore the data and we discover some insights from there, that what insights do we want from there, right? So for that, first of all, whatever data you are logging, that will be a raw data, right? So we convert our raw data as a representable data. Means you can't represent a raw data. If your data is representable, and the process which we follow between raw and representable data, that is called the pre-processing. Pre-processing, like if you have some noise, you have to remove that, right? If there are missing data, we require to fill that or remove that missings. So different kind of pre-processings are there. Spikes, you can remove spikes, or if you want to smooth your data, so that is also possible. So this kind of things are pre-processing. So in MATLAB, we have a live script. Even if you don't want to write the code, you can use live script to remove such kind of unwanted things from there, from your data. So when your data is ready, it means your data is representable now. So once your data is representable, we write a algorithm for that. So depends on you that what kind of algorithm are you going to design for your data. Simple statistics or fitting, or machine learning, deep learning, depends on you that what are you going to do with the data. Write the algorithm. Further, you can deploy your algorithm. You can create a application for that. So we have a app designer. We can design a app for that. Once you design the app, if you want to design that, you can create a .exe file of your applications, or if you want to generate docs of that documents. So we have options. You can create it as a PDF file, as a doc file, or if you want to publish on your website, you can create a .html file also of that. Further, if you want to deploy in a hardware, in a single click, you can deploy in a hardware. Just you have to interface your hardware with MATLAB, and you can deploy it as well. But if you want to integrate with enterprise system, let's say that you are working on a big project, so like you can generate libraries for other languages. If you are working with, let's say if you are working on Microsoft Visual kind, some big project you are working with, that you can generate a library for that, C++ libraries, Java libraries, and you can interface with different languages as well. These things are bidirectional, and these complete things you can do in MATLAB. Perfect. Okay. Now about MATLAB user interface. What is a MATLAB environment? When you open your MATLAB first time, it will be open like this. This is a current directory of MATLAB. So every software has their own directory. This is a MATLAB current directory left side, which you will see. So if you want to access any folders, subfolders, or files, it has to be in a current directory. Okay. Or if you want to save any file, it as a default it will be saved in a current directory. This is a editor or debugger. If you want to debug, you can debug using this. So this is a M file. This is a MATLAB M file where we write our codes and we save our code also. If you want to save your code, you can write in a M file, or we have a live script also. You can write your codes in a live script as well. Okay. Sorry. This is the command window. If you want to execute any variable or functions, or if you want to display any numeric data, just you can type in a command window and it will be executed. Okay. This is a workspace browser. So any variable which you define as a default, it will be saved in a workspace. Okay. These are data types and variables which are supported in MATLAB. So we will discuss about all data types. What kind of data types are there? So first data type which you see, that is Boolean. Sorry, this. So Boolean is logical, simple 0, 1, true and false, right? Numeric data. Numeric data, two types, single precision and double precision floating type data. So this is a floating type data. So you can, when you define any kind of numeric variable, as a default, it is said as a double precision. I mean, it will be created as a double precision. You can access text and character data also. Function handle, we are going to discuss during the session what is the function handle. If you want to give a handle of your function to other variable, that is called function handle. Okay, in tech numeric data, you can define integers also, signed integers or unsigned integers. I hope that you are aware about what is signed and unsigned integers, right? Heterogeneous container. So whatever we discussed till now, that is for the specific class. Now let's say that I want to save single precision, double precision, integers, characters also, booleans also in the same variable. Then you can use a heterogeneous container. This is the way that where you can save multiple classes kind of data. So two kind of containers are there. First is name based and another is index based. So anything which you write in a cell, curly bracket, that is called cell. And data structure, as a structure, whatever you are going to save, that is called name based. So we provide a name for a variable. If I have to save any data as a name based, okay. These are some functions of some statistics functions. We will see all these functions later. So before that, let me switch here in MATLAB. So this is a MATLAB here, which you see. This is a command window. This is a workspace, and this is the current directory of that. And here we have some tabs, and we will discuss all these tabs during these 3 days. So okay, now let's say I'm going to define some simple variable a is equal to 1 colon 10. So you see that as a in a single line, this variable is executed, right? And in workspace, you see that that variable is appeared here, right? Now let's say that I want a exponential of this a. So very simple, exp of a, and you will get the exponential of that. So we have exponential also of that. This is the exponential. We write a exp for the exponential in MATLAB. And let's say I am going to plot this. So first of all, using control tab from your keyboard, first select the x-axis, then y-axis, and simply go in a plot, and you see that whatever plots are supported for this data, it will be appeared plot. If I click on this, I will get a line plot for that. So you see that different plots are there: area plot, bar plot, stem plot, scatter plot. So you see that is the exponential, because samples are very less, only 10 samples are there, so it looks like as a discrete. Okay, so you see that scatter plot is there. So if I click on this, I will get the scatter plot, stem plot. This is the stem plot of this, stair plots. Very easily you can plot different kind of data in MATLAB. So simple commands are there. You see that whatever I was clicking there for plotting, and MATLAB display that functions here. Apart from that, two things are very important in MATLAB to know. First thing that what you can do with MATLAB. Second thing, how to get help in MATLAB. You don't require to remember any functions in MATLAB because thousands of functions are there. So it is not possible to remember everything. That's why how to get a help and what you can do with MATLAB. Two things are very important. Okay, so let me show you how to get some help in MATLAB. The first way to get a help here, you see that we have an option as a FX, right? Just click on this. So first time when you click, it will take a little time. And let's say that I want to find out the correlation between data, and I don't know what is the function, right? So simply I will type a few letters here, and you see that whatever folders are available by this name, it is showing you, and below you see that here it is written function. So you see that these are linear or rank correlation, CORR2, that is 2D correlation coefficients, and it is written images. So if you want to find out correlation between two images, you are going to use this function, else you are going to use this function. So when I click on this, here is a syntax that how we are going to provide, plus some explanations are there, right? But I am not happy with that. I don't know how to execute even by saying this. I want some examples as well that how it work. So just click here, more help, and document will be opened here. So still, let's say I want to open in a browser. So that is a offline. You don't require internet connection. So how to explore any function in MATLAB? So left side, just click here, click on syntax. You will get the syntax that how you have to provide the syntax. Now, what is this X? What is this Y? What is RSO here? Just click on the description. You will get the description of every input and output arguments. Okay, I want to see some examples also. Just I will click and I will get some examples about correlations all here. Okay, I want to see what are input arguments I can provide there. Just I will click here input arguments, and I got here, and there is explanation also. Okay, I want to know what is output arguments. So here is the explanation. Perfect. And you see references also. If I click on references, I will get the references also of that. Apart from that, this is the algorithm which is given for correlation. Okay. For each and every function, there is a proper documentation. That's the first way to get a help in MATLAB. Second way, if you are a beginner, if you don't know anything, here you see question mark in MATLAB, right? Just click on this, and in left side you will get all modules which are available in MATLAB, right? So let's say that I want some help from Simscape Electrical. I will click on this. Here is a brief overview that what you can do electrical. If you are a beginner, you have to start from get started. So for every function, for every module, we have a get started. Just complete this get started. Just click on this link. Like if I have to generate a triangle wave generator model, if I have to create. So I'm going to follow this, and I can generate a triangle wave generator. So you see that explanations are given, examples are also given here, and if you are a beginner, for every module, get started is there for beginners. Just complete that. Let's say I have to design a DC motor. If I click on this, step by step process is given here that how to design a DC motor. Okay, now I want to see blocks are available. Just I will click on the block section, and group wise connectors and references electromechanical blocks. Okay, asynchronous machines. If I click induction machine single phase, I will get that block, and how this blocks works. Proper explanation is given, and here you see that algorithm is also given, right? Okay, next here I want to see some examples also of this Semiscape electrical. Just you have to click here examples, and you will get lots of examples based on the Semiscape electrical module. You see here different examples are available here. Now apart from that, you can create shortcuts. You can add as a favorite also. So later if you want to open, just click on this and it will be opened. So you see, this is also part of a same escape electrical part. That is a complete energy management system for a hybrid electrical source, right? So we'll see these things in a power electronics when we have a session third day. Okay, so this way you can get a help, and the another way, there are lots of way to get help, and one more way that let's say you know the function name but you don't know how to execute that function. For example, FFT, that is called fast Fourier transform. So when I click doc space FFT, a document will be opened. So for any function, if you know the function name but you don't know how to execute, doc space function name. Same thing here, syntax, descriptions, examples, right? Input arguments, output arguments, explanations. Apart from that, this is the algorithm for that mathematical equation, that how it works, right? Okay, I am going to switch here. So we are going to import data in MATLAB, and we are going to apply all these functions like maximum, minimum value, mean value, median, mode, standard deviation, variation, sum, products, how to do all this. I have here different CSV files available. Electricity data I have. Let me open this outside of MATLAB. Just select and open, click open outside of MATLAB. Let me show you what kind of data I have here. You see that I have first column is date, and this is a residential energy, electricity. Energy is available commercially. Energy is available, electricity, power, industrial power consumption available, and this is the total power which we have here, right, in this Excel file. And you see that there we have some missing data also. See, here I have missing data. Here also I have missing data. Perfect. We have a missing data as well here. Okay, I am going to import this data. Again, let's say I am a beginner. I don't know what is the function to import data in MATLAB. So if you're a beginner, start from import data from here. Just click on this and select your file. So first of all, you can check from here what kind of file formats are supported. Okay, different file formats are available here. Okay, I am going to select this one. I clicked on import tool and I search the file and I selected a MATLAB window will be opened here. This data will be opened in a MATLAB window. So it is still opening, and you can see all data we have here, right, in MATLAB. Now to import this, first of all, what will be our output type? Let's discuss about this. As a table, what is the table, right? So if you select table, whatever you see as it is, it will be imported in MATLAB. Column vectors. So in MATLAB, if you have a single row or single column, that is called vectors. Okay. So if you choose column vectors, I will get 5 columns. But you are going to choose column vectors when you have a numeric data only. So I don't have only numeric data. I have a date time data as well. So I am not going to choose column vectors. Numeric matrix, if you want all numeric data in a single matrix, you are going to choose numeric matrix. I am not going to choose numeric matrix because I have two different classes. One is numeric, that will be a double precision floating. Another is date time format. So Numeric you may say number format and another is date type format. So in a matrix, single kind of classes only you can say. I'm not going to choose that. String array, anything which you write as a single or double inverted comma, that will be called as a string. Or okay. So if you have any text data, you require to write in a single or double quote for that. Fine. Cell array. Already we discussed anything which you write in a curly bracket, that will be a cell for you. Okay. So our case, we are going to choose table. Now you see, here is the green tick. When I click on this green tick, my data will be imported here. See, I have data as a table, right? If I give a host command, you see that electricity size is this 315 rows and 5 columns. How many bytes it is taking to store, and this is as a table. And you see that other variable which we assigned defined, that is double precision floating type, right? So now we have this data. But again, one question will be around that okay, I use import tool, I imported data in MATLAB, that is fine. But what I don't want to use the import tool, I want to use a code for that because for automation purpose we require a code for that, right? So simple code is there, read table to import data from as a table, or if I click here, we can generate a script file or function file for that. Let's say that I am going to generate a script file. So see, this code is generated, right? And here read table and the full path of that Excel files. So when I let me save this, sorry, I'm going to save this by name. Let's say YMCA demo. This file, this is the .m file, YMCA demo, as a YMCA demo I am going to save. Okay, I save this script file and I am going to clear everything from here. So I created some shortcuts, so I don't have to give again and again CLC and clear command. So there is an option to create your favorites from here. So when you create your favorite, it will be appeared here. Just click on this and it will be executed. Okay, this is my script file here. I generated code for that Excel file. Simply I will type here YMCA demo and that file will be executed, and you see that again I have that file in workspace, right? For different kind of files, this is for the specific this file only, but I want to create such a code that it will work for other CSV file as well. So in that case you can create a function file. So you see that this is a function, like inbuilt functions are there in MATLAB, like sine is an inbuilt function. If I give some values as a radian, let's say I'm going to give as a pi, that value is 1.224 into 6 into 10 to the power minus 16, that is 0 almost, right? So this is a user defined function which we created right now. This is the function name, and here you have to provide the file name, any CSV file when you give it, and it will be imported in MATLAB. So you can create as a function file also. Fine. Okay, I'm going to close this and this one as well. Okay, I have this data here available. Now how to extract columns from this table? So we have five tables, sorry, five columns as a date, residential electricity, commercial electricity, industrial, and total electricity, which we have. So as I told, we have a missing data. So when you import this missing data, it will be appeared as an NaN, not a number. So what you can do here, you can replace that missing data. Here is the option that how you are going to replace that missing data. You can provide some constant value or some different value to replace that missing data. Fine. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to extract this attributes. These are called column names, which is that are called attributes, or it is also called as a variables. Okay. Okay, let's say first of all, I am going to extract date from there. So first way to do these things is just simply type this table name. So you don't have to write a complete name of any variable. Just write a few letters and press the tab, and you will get the option that whatever files and functions are available like this. So this is the electricity. Dot, press the tab, and you see that whatever variables are available, industrial, residential, date. So first of all, I am going to extract the date. I will use the tab command. Now I have a date here. So I use semicolon here. If you use the semicolon, this output will be not shown, but it will be executed here. So sometimes we have a big data, so we require to use the semicolon because it takes time to display data. Okay. This is there that total power I am going to save here. Total power. So again, electricity dot tab. Here is the total. Okay. I want to visualize this total power, and date wise, here is the date which you see we have here data as well. So simply we will use plot command. Plot first date variable that will be on x-axis and total power. So we have this power, see, year wise 1990, 1995, 2000, 2000, 2005, 2010 and 2015, right? So we have this. If I have to write something as a title, simply give the title power waste time, and I will get the title as well here, power waste time. Okay, as I told, there are missing data also. So if I have to find out if there are missing data or not there, so simply I will give command is missing, and again I will use the tab is missing and variable name. So I am going to give this. If I have a missing data here, I will get value 1, else I will get value 0. So you see that so many places I have value 1, right? So missing data I have it almost in every column except date type. But I want to find out the missing data in total power. So you see that I have some places 1 and some places I have 0. Okay, it gives me a logical index that wherever I have missing data I will get 1 and else I will get 0. I want to find out the index also, that where do I have numeric index, that where I have that missing data. Find command is missing, I will get the index. So you see that how many missing data I have. Further, I want to count how missing data do I have, numeral and this answer. So total 10 missing data we have, right? So we are going to remove or fill this missing data. These things we are going to see how to do this kind of task. Before that, we will see how to modify this figure. Let's say that I don't like this figure. I want to do some kind of modification in this figure. For example, I want to annotate first of all. I want to write something on x-axis. So I will go in insert and I will simply type this is years. Again, I will go here in insert from here, and I want to write something on y-axis as well. That is usage of power, right? So I have this x-axis and y-axis. I want to do some more modification. Like I want to increase the thickness of this, or I want to make this axis as a bold. So simply you have to go in view. There is an option available, figure palette, and if I click here again, in view, we have a plot editor tab as well. I want to make this as a bold. Just simply I will click here bold, and you see that it is bold, right? I want to change the color and thickness of this. Just I will select this here. Property inspector will be opened here. Just double click on this figure. A property inspector will be opened. Now I don't like this blue color. Let's say I want it as a red. See, it is now red. I want to increase this line width to, see, this is modified, right? So as well, you can change the legend. You can display the legend also here, that what kind of plot it is. Data, if you want to modify this date time data, you can modify. Lots of things you can do from here. Or if I want to simply add some arrows here, you can add it like this, right? I want to write some text as well from here. Uses, let's say something I'm going to write, uses between two zeros, uses around two in 2000, something like that. You can do this kind of modification like this. Okay, whatever modification I did, same changes which I did here, I want in my other plots also. If when I plot this, all these things. So what I can do, I will go here in file and I can generate a code for that. See, still we didn't have to write a single code for that. Now you see that whatever modification we did here, annotation, that arrow, this is the function to display the arrow. If you know the X, Y axis coordinates, you can write it. Annotation, again, if I have to write a text box, simply what I am going to write, you can write it like this, right? Now you see here, I am going to save this. Create a figure as a create figure. Again, I am going to save as a my demo one, something like that. And you see here, this figure which I modified, I am going to close. Now I have this as a function, the modified one. So simply y and sorry, this my demo, the x-axis data and y-axis data. Sorry, y-axis data is total power, and you see that the same figure we will get it here. So like this, you can edit your figure, you can modify your figure, you can generate a code for that, and same customization you can apply on different data as well. Perfect. Okay, our question was about the missing data, how to fill that missing data, right? And also I want to remove spikes also from there. I am going to use live script for that. Here, live script we are going to use. So first of all, I want to write some text also here. So here you see in this live script, we have an option to write a text. Very simple. I'm going to choose as a text here. Simple. I am going to write here pre-processing. So when you write the text and when you execute this live script, MATLAB will not execute this text. MATLAB compiler uh, will not know that what is. This is for your purpose only. So if you want to make it as a different kind of heading, titles depends on you. Let's say I'm going to make it as a heading one. So this now I am going to write a code here. So just you have to select the code. First of all, I am going to plot. And what was the name of that? Total power. Total power. To execute this, we have a different option to execute. See, here we have option run, or here we have a blue strip to execute this, or here is the option to run section. So this is the only one section. When you click here, run section or run, or just click here this blue strip, blue line which you see. When I click on this, we will get the figure in a same figure window. See? Okay, once I run this, I don't want to run this again. I don't want to run this again. I am going to break it as a section. Just I will select here and section break. So you see that we got a second section here, right? Now pre-processings we are going. First of all, we are going to find out the missing data. Find like we did before. Find or different way how you can do it. Is missing and this total. You see that when I'm typing here, MATLAB is suggesting me that what kind of data or functions are you going to use. I am going to use this one. Okay, as I told, if I use this function, I will get the logical index. If there is a value 1, missing data. If there is value 0, then non-missing data, right? So I will sum this. So it will count that how many total number of missing data do we have before use numeral with find, right? So what sum what it will sum all ones there, whatever ones we have. So it will tell me how many missing data we have. We have 10. Okay, we run this section. Now we are going to do a section break. And here if I have to write a text, simply I will write a text. Filling data. Now I am going to write a code. I will simply select a code. To fill missing data or to remove missing data, I don't know again that what will be a function. I don't know, let's say you are a beginner and you don't know. So what we can do here, just go here, click here in an insert, which you see here, insert and task. In insert and task, you see here that we have a different kind of tasks available, like clean missing data, clean outlier, find changes point, find local extrema, remove trend, smooth data. If you are working on table, some table pre-processings are given. If you are working on optimization, which you are going to see after this session, if you are working on control system, so already we have templates are available for also. So in our case, we have to clean missing data. Just I will select this clean missing data. A template will be created here. And we don't have to write a code, just we'll use this. Okay. So this is a template to fill, find or remove missing data. Here you see it is written find, fill or remove, right? First of all, we have to select variable. That is total power, right? I am going to select this. Now it is asking me here I have to remove or fill. So we are not going to remove, we are going to fill that. And here you see different kind of algorithms are available there. That what algorithm are we going to use to fill that missing data? Let's say I am going to use moving median. By this algorithm, this and you see here wherever you see that dots, orange dots that were missing data and that are filled, and it will be saved here clean data. So let's say I want to change this variable field uses, something like that. Okay, so we have this field uses as a variable after filling that, and further what codes were there, I mean what codes were executed. Just click here, here you see, and you will see that this is the code for that. Field missing, total power using moving median, and the total number of values we are taking 4 at a time to take the median of that. See, very simple. Perfect. So far so good, no issue. Okay, next what we can do, whatever we modified here using this template, I want to convert as a code. I will just right click, convert tasks to editable code. I will click here and you see that it is converted as a code, right? And if I execute this same thing, I will get it here. So what we got here, two outputs, field uses and missing indices. Let's plot and check it. So I'm going to plot and check this. So again, section break, plot, first of all, date, and second is time. That is sorry, field uses, which we filled it right now, right? So I'm going to execute, and this is the field one. Perfect. And before this graph was this, before filling. Now we have filled. You see here that here we have discrete here gap here, right? It is not connected because there were missing data. Now it is filled. You see if you here. Okay. I want to check if there are outliers or not. These pre-processings are very important. Outliers means spikes. So I'm going to break it as a section. Simple command is there, is outlier. Perfect. And this field uses, and I will take the sum. Again, I will get the logical index. 1 means outliers, 0 means non-outliers. So I will sum this. We use this parenthesis bracket to execute any functions. Let's see. So here it shows that answer 0. We don't have any outliers here, right? So this is the way that how we can import data in MATLAB, how to do some kind of pre-processings on that data. Okay, this is the way. So right now, if you have any questions, just write there. Otherwise, we'll go further. If you have any questions, just write in a chat box. Any questions from your side? I think no questions. Okay. Okay, then we'll go further. I am switching here. So we saw different kind of plots also, scatter, bar, stem, stairs plot, area plot. Simple, these are the functions in MATLAB which from which you can plot this kind of different kind of plots. Okay, now we'll see this example. Study the relationship between the fuel economy, horsepower, and type of vehicles. So the data which we have, basically what we are going to do here, we have a mileage data. Mean lots of data we have, but what we are going to do, we are going to extract the mileage data and horsepower, and we are going to create a mathematical equation. So when we give the as a input horsepower, it will tell me what will be a mileage of the vehicle. So this we are going to apply here. Okay. Approaches. We are going to access data from Excel file. Interactively, we are going to visualize and explore trends. Then we are going to create a model and further documentation we will do. Okay. So already we discussed that how to do all these things. I mean the tech, workflow of that. I am switching here in MATLAB. So let me show you that what kind of data I have here in Excel file. So you see that I have data from different years, 2000, 2002. Let me show you that what do we have in this data. Open outside the MATLAB. So you see that years, company name, car, if it either it is a car and truck. So we have two data from two different vehicles, that is truck and car. Okay. And we have engine types. We have rated horsepower, which I was talking about, If a car and vehicles are driving in the city or highway, we have that data and we have a mileage of every cars also, right? So already we saw how to import data in MATLAB, right? Fine. Okay, in this case, what I have done here, I have created a function like from that import tool, and I'm using that function to load data from 2007. Just simply I will execute this, and this will be executed as a car data. It is executed here. See here we have this car data. If I give this summary, it will let me know statistics of this table for every column. So you see that whatever columns we have, it is the summary: mean value, median value, max value, how many number of missing data do we have, right? Like CO2 emission, right? Minimum value of CO2 emission is this, median value is this, max value is this, number of missing data are this, right? Okay, this is the first thing which we did. And let's say that I want a summary from this table of rated horsepower, mileage, and CO2. So I can write in a curly bracket for that. So it will give me a summary of rated horsepower. So you see that rated horsepower minimum value, minimum horsepower which we have, that is 76, maximum which we have, that is 631, right? Mean, median, and max value we have here. Okay, also we saw how to customize the figure and generate it as a function, right? So we already created that thing. So here I am using that function here, and I am going to plot mileage with respect to rated horsepower. Let me run this one also and check the output. You see here what this graph shows. I am going to, you see here that you can zoom it also directly from here like this. Perfect. You can zoom it and you can visualize. So I'm going to undock this and I'm going to check it here, this figure. So what we see in this figure, on y-axis we have miles per gallon, that is mileage. On x-axis we have rated horsepower. So you see from this graph, when we increase the horsepower, if horsepower is high, then mileage is decreasing. What it says that if you have a vehicle and if you have a higher horsepower, then your vehicles will have a low mileage. The graph it shows right now, right? Okay, so here let's see some uh, rational operators and logical operators, how to apply on that. So first of all, in this Excel file, let me close one first of all from here, and I'm switching here in MATLAB. Let me open this table here. You see that we have some characters as well, like truck and car, right? Like transmission kind of. We are going to apply operators on that. We have to convert as a category. For example, I am going to define some structure here. Sorry, some string here. Let's say hi, hello, something like that. And I am using MATLAB, something like that. Okay. If I give a whose command, whose a, it shows that it is a string, right? I have to convert, if I have to convert in a category, I will use categorical, and a it will be converted as a category. Whose answer, it shows that it is as a category, right? So if you want to apply math operators, any kind of operators or logical operators or relational operators, we require to convert as a category. So same thing I am doing here. That the column which we had as a car and truck, we are converting as a category and we are saving in the same column here which you see. Fine. Same for the city highway, we are converting as a category. and we are extracting the ID of that car and car. What is the car ID? So this is the operators which we are applying here. So what I am going to do here, let me show you how it works first of all. I am going to run this part only. Just I will select and execute it. Fine. Now I have this table car data dot car truck is equal to car. So wherever this you see here that relational operator I apply, right, double equality here. Wherever this condition will satisfied, I will get the logical index 1, else I will get 0. See, at what index we have car data and what index we have truck data, that is 0, right? So same thing we are applying here. We are getting the car ID. Also what we are doing here, you see here, uh, car data, from this car data, if a vehicles are driving in the city and it will be a truck, it means I want the ID of that truck which are driving in the city. See, double equal to city and double equal to here truck, right? Relational operator again. I don't want car data. I want truck data which are driving in the city. Perfect. Let me execute this. Now distribution plot. So let me execute and show you, then we will see that what is this distribution plot. It shows you here, just wait 1 minute. This one. Distribution, this is a distribution plot. How this data is distributed. Okay. So the data we have mileage. So here you see that the blue color which you see, the blue, this one, this first one, sorry, this color which you see, it shows the what is the mileage of vehicles if it is driving in the city. And the green one which you see, it shows the mileage of the vehicle if it is driving on the highway. So you see that if it is driving on the highway, the median value is coming somewhere here. This is the normal distribution, right? So it shows that if vehicles are driving on the highway, then mileage is high, and if it is driving in the city, then mileage is low, right? First thing. Second thing, how your data is distributed. This shows here. So how to fit your data? That is a big question. How to fit your data, right? So we have a distribution fitter here, options is available here. So what I am going to do here, I am going to here in app, and from this app I am going to use this distributor fitter to feed that data. Means I want to check what kind of distributions are in my data simply. So here there are different kind of user friendly apps. You can use these apps if you don't want to write a code. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to extract the horsepower from that table. HP is equal to car data dot rated horsepower. I have this horsepower here. I'm going to check what kind of uh, distribution is there in that data. So simply I will click here data. First step is just click the data from this distribution filter, and I'm going to select that data, that is horsepower. Once I have this data, create a data set. I'm going to close this, and you see that this is a distribution of my data. This is the histogram of it. Next, we have to find out the fit for this data, right? So next step is click on new fit. Because statistics is very important, because it is not possible to work on the population data. For example, why statistics we require? Let me give you an answer for that. First of all, let's say that I am asking you tell me the average salary of Indian people. I am asking you, tell me a average salary of Indian people who are working. What will you do? You will visit in every state, every cities and every home to ask the salary, and you will take the mean of that, which is impossible. You can't ask from 1 billion people that what is your salary, and further it will take a lot time for that, right? So what we do here, we don't go in every home to ask the salary for that. We just visit some cities, some states, we take the samples. That's why statistics exist. What we do analysis on the samples and we calculate the statistics of the population using the sample data. That's why statistics occurs here. Okay. Okay. Now fitting part here. So let let me close this. First of all, new fit. Second step is this fitting part. Okay. So, what kind of fitting do you want? Different kind of fittings are available. Let's say that I am going to choose normal fitting and I'm going to apply here. Okay. And you see that we got the statistics of this. What is the standard deviation and what is the mean value? It is showing you, and standard error also it is showing you, right? All parameters are showing here. So you see that somehow it's fit that normal distribution. But I am not happy with that. I am going to try another fit as well. So I will click here in manage fit and then new fit. I'm going to fit it again with a different distribution. Let's say that I am going to use binomial. I'm going to apply. Oh, here I have to provide the number of fixed values also for the binomial, because it is very important to provide the fixed values also. Or we can choose some Rayleigh. Let's choose Rayleigh. Rayleigh fitting. Okay, we applied and let's check this. So in this case, you see that the two kind of fits we have, fit 2 and fit 3, right? So normal fitting is better than Rayleigh one. So what we can do, that I got that normal is better one, I will untake this another one, another fit from here. I am going to close this. And further, display type. Different options are there. I want as a cumulative probability distribution. So just I will select this and it will be a cumulative probability distribution. So it is also perfect fitting. So this is a different display type. It is a probability distribution function, that how you are going to display your data. Further evaluate. If I have to find out that new data from the population, which I was saying it is impossible, you can provide it here and you can check that if it exists in this graph or not, and what is the probability of that data which exists here or not. So here you can write any kind of data. Let's say I'm going to write 100 and I'm going to apply. So this is the probability that this data exists in this graph. Perfect. And from here you can generate a code as well for that. Same thing I have did here, this one. Okay. Now Gscatter. Gscatter is a group scatter. So group wise it will distribute my data. So what I am doing, Gscatter of rated horsepower and mileage. Okay. If car and truck are driving in the city and highway, this is the grouping, that how I am grouping this, and this is my numeric values. Okay. And here you see, if car is driving in the city, red one, mileage is a little bit low. If truck is driving in the city, this color which you see, mileage is showing low with respect to rated horsepower. Further, The green one, if car is driving in the city, you see, sorry, highway, the mileage is high. So this is a grouping of your data based on the categorical variables. So in our case, what are the categorical variables? That is car and truck column and city and highway column. Means car and truck, either it is driving in the city or on the highway. And what are the data we are grouping? That is the horsepower and mileage. Means mileage with respect to horsepower. Perfect. Next, what we are going to do here, we are going to fit our data. As I told that what I am going to do, I am going to fit mileage with respect to rated horsepower. Okay. So for that, again, if you are a beginner, you can start from the app. So I'm going to close this app and I'm going to use the curve fitting app to fit this data. I will go here and from here, this is a part of a math statistics, or you can search it from here. Curve fitting. So just type the curve and you can open this fitting app. Fine. So use maximum 3 variables you can fit, 2 independent, 1 dependent. So in our case, we have 1 independent and 1 dependent. So first of all, I am going to choose X data, that is rated horsepower, and Y data, that is mileage. Perfect. Here you see what kind of equation do we want. So if I here is the custom equation. So you can fit your custom equations as well. So you can write your custom equation and you can estimate the model parameters. Like in this case, that is A, B, and C. Instead of writing a custom equation, you can choose some. Let's say I am going to choose polynomial. So in right left side, you can check the equation P1x plus P2 square. This is the coefficient of that, but I am not happy with that. I want to increase the degree of that. I want to center and scaling between -1 to 1. And if you want a robust model, that also you can select from here. Plus in fit option, what will be a lower and upper bound of that? For example, that is very important. In this case, fitting and optimization both are going together. Why it is important to provide the lower limit and upper limit of that? Let's say you have a electrical circuit equation and you want to estimate the voltage. And let's say that electricity equation work between 0 to 40 volt only. And if you don't provide the lower bound for voltage 0 and upper bound for 240, maybe your voltage estimation will come above 240, 500, then your that circuit equation is useless, right? That's why you have a option. We have an option to provide the lower and upper limit also. In this case, somehow it is fine. This is my equation. This is a sum of a square error, that is 6 to 1. This is a R square value. Maximum is 1 and minimum is 0. Adjusted R square value will be always lower or equal to R square value. When you increase the number of variables, adjusted R square value will be decreased. And this is the root mean square error. What is sum of a square error? That is your uh, predicted value and the original. Just minus from that and take the square of that. That is the sum of square error. That is the root mean square error. It shows. So it is 0.6925. That is very less. That is good. But I am not happy with that polynomial equation. I want to check some other equations as well for that. What I can do, I will just select this fit one and I will right click and I will create one duplicate for that. You see one duplicate is created. Fine. I am going to check other equation from here. Let's say that I am going to choose exponential. Again, center and scale. So you see that two mathematical equations we have, one for polynomial and another for exponential, right? And this is the exponential one which you see right now. How to compare that, which one is the best? Start from here. First of all, about coefficients. So in the case of polynomial, three coefficients we have. In the case of exponential, only two. So exponential is less expensive if you compare. But about accuracy, here you see root mean square error of polynomial is lesser than exponential. Adjust r square value also you will see that is higher of polynomial if you compare with exponential. So I can say that polynomial fit is better than exponential. I'm going to delete this. Okay, this one is better. Next, if I click here this adjust access limits, here's the option. I want to check that how this graph will go in a future. Just I will click here, and here is the option. You can increase the x-axis value and you can check that how it goes in future. If you are happy with that, then this is fine. Like this graph, if you want in the future, then this is fine. And apart from that, from here you can generate a code for automation purpose. This is the code for me. So whenever I provide the rated horsepower as an input and mileage as a output, it will give me a fit result here. Fine. Okay, instead of generating a code, I want to save this model as a predictive model. So what will I do here? Simply I will select this. I will right click, save this model. So three outputs I will get. One predictive model I will get. Another goodness of fit. Third will be output. Means predicted output. When I save this, I will get that fitted model here. Let me drag it and execute this and check what is there, what is available there. Okay. Same, we have the mathematical equation for that. We have regression coefficients of P1, P2 and P3. This is the range and the confidence interval is 95. As a default, any kind of regression which we apply, we use the confidence interval 95. You can use 99 as well. Okay, this is the confidence interval and this is my equation. Now, fitted model, if I provide here horsepower, it will tell me what will be a mileage of that vehicle. It shows that if I have a vehicle which has a horsepower of 400, then what will be a mileage, that is miles per gallon. It's showing 40.423. And let's say that I have a horsepower of 100 only. You see that mileage is increased. It means that the model which we created, it is working perfectly, right? When we are decreasing the horsepower, mileage is increasing, right? When you are increasing the horsepower, then mileage is decreasing. Perfect. Okay, I am switching here. So if you have any question, you start right in a chat box, please. Okay, so same here I use that fitting app and I created as a function. I am providing as an input here that is rated horsepower and mileage, and I'm creating a fit for that. Okay, in this case you see that mileage is inversely proportional to rated horsepower. Fine. So that's why we are using this custom equation. In our case, we use the polynomial, right? Here we are using this custom equation. So when I execute this, I will get the fitted model here. See, perfect. We got this equation, and what are the regression coefficients here? A and B. This is the linear regression, and here we have the fitted graph for that. Perfect. Now if I have to predict this here, I will get the model here. If I predict if rated horsepower is 20, then what will be a mileage on that? It shows that 1.593 into 10 to the power 2. That is 100 miles per gallon if rated horsepower is 20. Perfect. Same way, similar way, you can fit if your car is driving in the city, car is driving on the highway, truck is driving in the city, or truck is driving on the highway, right? So these are different fitting models. Okay, next, how to create apps for this. Let's say I want to share with my colleagues. I don't want that my colleagues will see all these codes, and just I want to share the apps with them. Okay, so let me open one app for you first of all. The complete solution I'm showing you. We started from the basic data analysis, pre-processing, then we generated a mathematical equation for that. Now we are going to see how to create a app. You see here, this is the app designer tool. In left side, we have libraries. If you want to plot, you can choose access. If you want to click on the button, then you want that your code will be executed, then you can use this button, checkbox, data picker, drop down, edit field. Different libraries are available there. So I have already created one app here. This is the design view, and where we write the code, this is the code view. You don't require to know C or Java to design the app in MATLAB. So very simple. Okay, I am going to check this. First of all, I am going to run here from here. When I run this, an app will be opened here. And now you see that what is the benefit of using this app? It is more flexible. I want to fit check the fit for data which I have in 2005. Option that you can select all. I want to check mileage with respect to horsepower of truck data, or you can select both car and truck as well. Once you select, here you can select the confidence intervals also. I'm going to choose as a default 95, and I'm going to click here plot. Perfect. So you see that we got the fitted data for the 2005 for car and as well both. On x-axis we have rated horsepower, on y-axis we have mileage. Okay, once you have created this app, let me close this app first of all, so it is working fine. Once you have created this app, how to create a standalone app for that means as a .exe file, right? So here, when you click here in share, we have three options, three kind of apps we can create. First is MATLAB app, second is web app, third is standalone desktop app. MATLAB app, it is a very simple app which you see here, this kind of apps. You can create a MATLAB app and you can integrate in this MATLAB environment. Okay. Second is web app. So if you have a campus wide license, you will get access for web server also. So once you create a web app, you can share this app through browser. Just provide the links, and any students, any colleagues can open that links in the on the browser, and they can access that apps. Okay. Third one is standalone desktop app. So when I select standalone desktop app, it will create a .exe file, and I can share with my colleagues. Even if they don't have MATLAB, still they can execute. So you are already aware what is the setup file, what is .exe file, right? So you see here, to create a .exe file, you can provide icons, author names, your emails, company, summary, and here you can provide the app. So okay, and when I click here package, app will be created. So let me show you how to do all these stuffs from scratch, how to design this kind of apps. I'm going to close this. So what I'm going to do here, I have just 1 minute. I have one Gaussian equation here. Let me close this first of all. I have one Gaussian model here. I want to create a app for this Gaussian fitting. Gaussian equation is just simply a normal distribution. Okay. So this is the equation which I have here. I have a MATLAB code. I use the slider here. to change the standard deviation and mean value. So if you go in insert, if you go in control, you can choose the slider. Instead of using for loop, you can use the slider. Let's say that if sigma value is 2, then how my graph will look like here. See, it is more uh, less thick, right? Shrinked. This is shrinked when we decrease the sigma value. If I decrease more this, so this is the good way that if I am teaching a student or if I am working on the thesis and whatever I am studying in my notebooks, I can check it like this. More it is shrink this graph. So I can say that if I have a Gaussian equation and if I am decreasing the standard deviation value, then how my graphs it will be expand or it will be shrinked, right? And let's say that this is mean value. If I increase or decrease, what will be effect on that? If I increase more sigma value, and you see that more wide it is, right? That's a perfect. So what I am going to do, I am going to create an app for that. So to design an app, simply you can open a app designer from here. Just give a command app designer and app designer will be opened. If you don't know the command, just go here at home, go here in new, and from here you can open that app. Okay. So this is the app designer GUI. We are going to start from blank. Okay. First of all, I want to plot this also. So you see that lots of libraries are available. If you're working on aerospace, if you have aerospace toolbox, you will get these blocks also. So in our case, simply we are going to use push button. When I click on this button, that code will be executed. To plot this, I require one access. So I have this access. Okay, to change the mu and sigma value, which you see here, sigma and mu value, I am going to take edit numeric field. Two, one for sigma, another for mu. Means standard deviation and mean value. So let's say that this is sigma and this is mu. Okay, now how to change the properties of this? I don't want this button here. I want to write as a click. Just select this and here is the property inspector from where you can modify. Fine. And if you want to change the color of that, from here you can change the color as well. And whatever modification you want, you can do it. I want to make it as a bold, it will be bold. I want to increase the font size, that will be 20, it is 20, right? Same thing you can, if you want to do some changes, some modifications, you can do it from here. Perfect. Same for this also. If you want to do some modifications, you can modify from here. So from here, so this is the design view. Now we have to write a code. So what I am going to do, what I want to do, when I click on this click button, then code will be executed. This I want. Okay. So what will I do? I will just right click. I will go here in the callback as add button callback function here. So when I click on this, it will be in the code view. So here I can write the code here in the that callback. Let's say that I don't know where is the callback. Again, you can select callback, go to the click button, push button for the callback. So here I am going to code which I want to execute. So what I'm going to do here, just I'm going to copy this code which I have created here. Fine. This and this x value. This is the Gaussian equation. Okay. I'm going to paste this here. So I have x-axis, I have x data, and I have this data, right? So what I want to do, I want to vary this sigma and mu value, right? So what I'm going to do here, sigma is equal to one thing more here. Whatever variable I will assign here as a default, it will be saved in as an app. Here you see here. My mu value will be median average value will be saved here, mean value, and standard deviation if I have, it will be saved here. So standard deviation and this will be saved here like this. So app dot sigma edit field dot value. I have the sigma value and mu value. So same way app dot, and where it will be saved, that is mu, right? Mu dot edit field, right? So mu edit field, what I am doing, simply extracting the value from that. From where? From this edit field. We have to write it like this. Okay, so we have this value, and this sigma and mu is already assigned this by this mathematical equation. Now to plot this, so simple command plot. First of all, x-axis data, that is x here already we have defined. See, this is the x. So first of all, we have to define on which axis we are going to plot. Here it is a little bit different. Before we are plotting, we are not assigning that on which axis we are going to plot. Here we have to assign that on which axis we are going to plot. So here is the axis name, FWI axis. Why we assign the axis name? Because there can be a multiple axis. That's why. So the axis name is given there. So you don't have to remember anything. Already it is given here that where we are going to plot. What we are going to plot? X and this f function. X-axis is x, y is this f function. I am going to check that it is working properly or not first of all. Then we will see how to create a standalone app for that. I'm going to run this. I'm going to save, let's say YMCA demo. The name is YMCA demo, and app will be opened. So right now we require a MATLAB to execute this app. Let's provide some sigma value. Let's say it is 0.2, and mu value, let's say it is 0.1, and just we have to click to check what kind of graph. See, so how good way that if I am a faculty or if I am a student, I can share this kind of apps with my colleagues. If I am faculty, then I can create such kind of small apps. I can share with my students as well, that try and change the value and check them. Whatever you are studying in your book, you can do it here, right? So let me increase this sigma value as a 1 and check. You see that that is spread because a standard deviation is spreaded from there. At x0, here we are getting the mean value, right? Let's change this mu value also. Let's say I'm going to do 1, this mean value. So it is shifted in this side, right? Because more positive it is going. If I do 2, it will be more shifted in the right side. See, because more positive values are going in the right side. Perfect. And if I do this 0, it will be exactly, because here you see that mean value is 0. So this way we can create. So now this app is working perfectly. Next step is to create a standalone app. So what I'm going to do, just I'm going to create a standalone desktop app so I can share with my colleagues. So here you can provide the icon as well. If you have any images, you can provide it. Author name, you can write it here. Let's say I am going to write as Akhilesh Kumar. Here you can provide the email. If you don't want to provide, you can leave it as a blank. Okay, it will be a copyright for me. Company name, let's say Design Tech. Perfect. Summary, description of that, and there is a two option: run download from web and run included in package. Okay, two options are there. So for example, if you run any kind of packages, I mean application, like if you are going to run a C code, you require a C compiler. If you are going to run Java applications, you require a Java runtime. So same for MATLAB apps, you require a MATLAB runtime as well. So MATLAB runtime is only one time you have to install on your desktop. You don't have to install it again. Same way like you use for other compilers. So MATLAB runtime is free. So if I choose this one, runtime downloaded from the web. So what it will do, it will download from the web when you install. If it is not installed on your machine, runtime included in package. Let's say that I want to share with that person who doesn't have a runtime. So I will choose this option. So in my case, I have already installed runtime. Just I will click on the package and it will start creating a .exe file. While it is creating, let me switch here in PPT. Let's summarize everything. So we saw that how to import data from files, then further some kind of analysis and developing a app also we saw, and how to create a PDF from your code which you have written. That's very simple. If you have to create a PDF, Word file, doc file, just you have to select from here. Let's say I want to create a PDF for that, just simply I will select the PDF and it will generate a PDF for me. Okay, so it is very simple. You can create a PDF for that, and apart from that you can create as a HTML files as well. So this is the simple, just save as and create a different kind of doc files also. So why it is important? Let's say if you are writing a thesis, then directly you can write some code, some paragraphs, and you can modify also, and after once you have done, you can convert as a PDF or as a doc file. You see that this PDF is converted. I can share with my colleagues again. Perfect. Okay, you see, let me check that. Okay, it is done. .exe file is created here. So if I click on the output folder, here we will get that .exe file. Here that is right. So three folders we got. This is the web.exe file, and so we use this to install that app. I don't want to install, then I will just click on this and it will be opened as a .exe file. And this is for the testing purpose only. So if you want to share, if somebody want to install it, you can share this one. If somebody don't want to install, you can share this one. So it doesn't require a MATLAB for that. Okay, so I just click. It will take a little time first time. Fine. So we saw that how to create an app. Also, you can create libraries for different languages if you are working on a big project. Sorry. So let's summarize. For accessing, you can access data from Excel file, text file. It can be a binary data. It can be audio, video, images. It can be a scientific formats also. Or if you want to access data directly from the webs, so you can use, you can access data directly from web services also. And further, you can access C, Fortran, Python, .com, .NET libraries also in MATLAB. Or if you have a database, we have a database data from database also. As I told, you can access data from live hardwares also. Data acquisition, we have a data acquisition toolbox. Instrument hardwares, we have a instrument controls also. Okay, this app is now you see that this .exe file is opened here. Just provide some values here and just execute. So this .exe file I can share with anyone, and you see that we got this graph. So this is the way that how you can design from beginning, from decision, I mean from requirement to deployment, right? Okay. Further explore and discover. So already we saw some manipulate, pre-process and manage data. Fast accurate analysis with pre-built math and engineering functions are available. Like we saw some functions there, how to apply that functions. You can visualize your data as a 2D and 3D. You can build in graphics functions, like we saw how to customize our figures, right? Interactive tools also we saw to annotate and customize the graphics, right? Further advanced analysis, if you want to do, we have modules available for this kind of applications, like math, statistics, optimization, control system design, analysis, signal processing and communications, image processing and computer vision applications, parallel computing and more. Lots of, as I told, more than 100 modules are available there in MATLAB. So you can apply, design different domain-based applications, and partner product provides additional interfaces. Some partner products are available for MATLAB, so you can interface different vendor products also here. About sharing, we saw how to publish data, how to customize, how to, you can further using a MATLAB report generator, you can generate a proper report of that. Also we saw how to package as an app and how to deploy applications to other environments also. Like already we discussed, if you want to deploy with different languages, that also we can do it. Okay, MATLAB apps, MATLAB apps, I am talking about mm, just this apps which we have, this kind of apps. So you can generate interactive applications to perform technical computing tasks displayed in apps gallery in MATLAB environment. Plus, there are many MATLAB products which you can use to design your apps. You can package your own apps also. So we saw that how to package our own apps as a .exe file, right? Further, more brief how to create a standalone application. So first of all, we require MATLAB and the modules which I am going to use to write algorithm for that app. And further, we can create a MATLAB app, and what we have a MATLAB compiler for that. Using the MATLAB compiler, we can create a standalone apps. Just we saw, you can create Excel add-ins also. You can create application for Hadoop, and end user you can share with the end user. He requires only MATLAB runtime, that is free. Only one time you have to install that. So that's all for today. And if you have any questions, let me see that if you have any questions or not in a chat box, you can write me in a chat box. Somebody is asking to share the recording. Sure, I will share the recording. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Any questions from your side? If you don't have question, we will meet at 12:15. Same link you are going to use for today. The link which you use right now to join this session, same link you are going to use again to join at 12:15. Okay. So 30 minutes breaks we have. Okay. I don't, sir. Do we have a Toby license? What is Toby? To buy. So do have to buy license? Yes, for students, there is a free, but that will be for 1 month only. You can generate a trial license for 1 month only. Once you have in your institute, that is called campus wide license, that is unlimited license and with all modules available in MATLAB, and you can use it anywhere, wherever you want. And you will get some self-paced courses also. Later we will discuss on third day what kind of that courses are there. Okay. Okay, thanks everyone. We will meet at 12:15 and I'm going to disconnect right now. Thanks.